All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the You, Me, and BTC podcast. Glad to have you with us, as we are glad to have you with us every week, because without you, this would not even be a show. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
we could
it
just
still
talk.
would. We just
need... talk into the wind.
Yeah, I mean, we pretty much are. We just have like a digital person that receives it, but we don't really need that. We do appreciate them and their listenership because then it helps us, but then nobody really comments.
It makes us look much less sad.
Yeah, come on, guys. What your problem is? Get over there to YouTube and to @YouMe and BTC and leave us a comment so we look less sad. Come on, guys. Seriously.
Now he's getting angry.
We need this.
I am Daniel Brown, and I'm here with
Tim Baker. My ego's at an all-time low.
And John Stuart. I've never had an ego.
John has been egoless forever.
That's saying a lot, Tim. I mean, because I thought that your ego was always super low. I mean, you never care about anything, including yourself. But whatever,
I care a lot about myself. That was a lie about the ego. I was trying to garner sympathy, but I don't want to go that route.
I thought his ego has always been rather large.
It's just, I hide it. Whenever I was younger, I would just I did the whole, I don't care about anything, but I cared about everything. And I just cried and cried and cried. Anyway,
so
hopefully I don't cry today.
Just so everyone knows, today's episode will be probably just about zero-ly edited. I know zero-ly is not an adverb, but I'm using it as an adverb. This episode is going to have just about zero editing. And we did this a few months back when I was on vacation to Hawaii, and this time I'm going to explore Europe, and I'm not really going to have time to edit. So we are recording about a week and a half in advance. And so who knows? Whatever we say will probably be old-fashioned and outdated by the time you're listening to this. And it's going to sound awful because Tim's going to be coughing in the background and sniffing, and John's going to be playing guitar or something. But, that just makes it feel more raw, more legitimate and stuff. So that's not all bad. It happens, So anyway, so just so everyone knows. And I was serious also, one more thing to get out of the way. I was serious about getting to @YouMe and BTC on Twitter. Send us a tweet. Tell us what you're interested in, what you want to hear. On YouTube, if you're listening, leave us a comment. On iTunes, I guess you can leave reviews or whatever. We're up for all that. But anyway, so the topic of today's show is Tor. Apparently, it'll be somewhat illegal, and people, the cops can get search warrants just because you're using Tor and stuff. So that's what's coming up. And Tim is going to cover that for us. One other thing that I want to remind everyone about, we've been talking about this for a couple weeks now, and I just want to say it one more time, that we are pretty serious about starting a new show, but at the same time, we pretty seriously don't know what direction we want to go, where we want to take it. Well, actually, I don't know. We kind of know.
Donate to us now. Stop us from doing whatever it is we're about to do. We swear
how
to
we
God,
get hundreds of Patreon patrons. We might have to reconsider a new show.
Yeah, we won't want to switch. Patreon.com.
We'll put the gun down from BTC's head. It's about
Patreon.com/you, me,
if you ever
and BTC.
Cared, donate now.
$100 an episode, and we won't switch. No,
we don't sound sad, do we?
No, it's perfectly normal.
Yeah, anyway, so just so you know, that's coming up. Like I said, it could be our next show. It could be in a couple weeks. I really don't know. We don't know what we're going to call it. I wish I could tell you, but we're still working out the kinks. What we do know is that it's going to be a lot more general, a lot more broad. We'll talk about anything that kind of strikes our fancy, which we've been doing to a slight extent here on You, Me, and BTC for a couple months, really. We've kind of expanded and talked about more random and interesting stuff, but we want to do that. We just want to have a show where we really can talk about anything, and I'm sure we'll have emphases and whatever, but we want to be able to talk about whatever and have totally random guests and different hosts and stuff. So keep an eye out for that. Be watching for news. It's a risky deal for sure. I mean, we've got a decent following here. I don't want to toot my own horn, but we do get.
But I will anyway.
We do get at least 700 or 800 downloads per episode, oftentimes 10 or 1,200, and that's not even counting our airtime on LRN.FM, which probably doubles our listeners. Just guessing, I don't really know. But anyway, yeah, I'm taking up too much time. Keep an eye out for that. And all you YouTubers who hate the first 5 minutes of the show, this is where you should comment and say this is where the real show starts. I'm turning it over to
Daniel
Tim.
Gets done bloviating about his self-importance to a bunch of people who listen to Bitcoin podcasts.
We don't sound sad, do we?
Yeah, that's going to be
Daniel
John's
right now.
That's going to be John's refrain throughout the whole episode, and it's going to make sense every time he says it because it's true. All right, Tim, what is it? What is this about Tor being illegal? Is it really going to be illegal?
Well, as we know, as the state continues to grow, everything will be made illegal till we are.
I mean, pretty much everything already is illegal.
Trying to come up with something to spend our time. Anyway, yeah, this is article I stole from Bitcoin Reddit. Someone put it up there. It's from the Merkle.
But it's on the Merkle. We actually had the guy in charge of the Merkle. He wrote a great review of Liberty VPS for us on UMe and BTC.com. It's a pretty recent article. It would have been from April probably, maybe March. But yeah, it's pretty recent. So if you want to find it, he actually wrote for us recently.
So
but,
you know he's good.
Anyway, go ahead, Tim. Sorry, I interrupted you.
You always interrupt me. Anyway.
That's what I live for, brah.
Bruh, the Merkle.
We don't sound sad, do we?
It still makes sense.
Still applicable. Still relevant. Still fresh. Anyway.
All right, I take that YouTube comment back. This is where the real show starts. Go for it,
No,
Tim.
this part, my voice is pretty much just entertaining by itself. Anyway, Tor is... I guess I'll just start out by explaining that Tor is a browser that can be used to access websites that are normally, they call them altogether like the dark net, dark web. That's
I'll be completely honest, Tim. That was a pretty mature comment for a radio host. A lot of people starting podcasts or radio shows or whatever would never think to explain what Tor is. They would never think that, there's going to be a few people in our audience who are way behind and they don't know what we're talking about, so we should explain it. But, after 2.5 years, that was a really mature thing. Hey, let's explain what Tor is and before we get into the story here. So I'm proud of you, brah.
Okay, this is now where they say where the story starts after Daniel tries to be petty towards me to try to make me feel bad in a weird way.
Wait,
Thanks, bro.
I was being completely serious. How is that trying to make you feel bad?
Because then it's like you're sucking up to me. I don't understand this. You're not nice to me, Daniel. You can't start doing it now.
You know what? Just do the story. All right, come on.
Anyway, thank you, Daniel, so much. He just fucking tries it. I don't know what. Anyway.
So yeah, what's Tor?
Tor browser can be used to access darknet, dark web, or it's also used by journalists for sending out emails and sending out information about, especially if they're behind places with like a national firewall or just, I guess, state-run firewalls, other like forcibly imposed firewalls. Right. I don't really understand that part as much about it, but there's a lot of
Wait, what do you mean you don't understand it?
I'm retarded.
No, I mean, like, you don't understand how they do it or why they do it?
No, I don't know the terms to use for that.
Okay, yeah, okay.
So I don't want to try to explain it.
For the firewalls, sure, yeah.
I don't know exactly what they're doing with that. So, but a lot of people, it's also an anonymizing tool used for going around the internet. It's supposed to ping your address through a couple different, I mean, it doesn't ping your address necessarily, but it runs the traffic through a couple different Tor relays, which Tor relays are, I guess I'll explain a little. Tor relays are where, I guess, people set them up. It's an address where traffic gets run through there. They've had trouble before, I think, in other countries. I'm not sure about in the U.S., about them getting raided for running Tor relays. But this specifically is the Supreme Court has apparently approved a rule change that will let the, it'll give a Daniel wasn't entirely correct about it letting the cops get a warrant. It's only for the FBI, I believe. It's granting a federal magistrate judge, and it's the right to issue a warrant for anyone using Tor. So if you're found to be using a Tor program or probably any kind of anonymity software on a computer, they could remotely be given a warrant to remotely spy on you, kind of like, again, going back to how they expanded wiretapping back during, I think it was Bush, under all the terrorist stuff. As this gets more, they're just gonna, it's just trying to stop it, trying to get them involved with it so that they can just pretty much go into anybody's laptop who is, because thinking about it now, if someone has Tor and then just uninstalls it, you could still say it's on their computer, like a trace of it. If you don't completely wipe it, does that give them the right? I guess they'd have to see use, but the part of the reason why Tor is there is for countries where they go in and they're not allowed to report out. So the FBI starts doing this, people are going to be like, well, it's just to stop drug stuff and terror. But then the FBI is going to see someone reporting something about maybe Snowden's trying to send something, and then, okay, well, we'll just pick him up for this, and then...
Forget Snowden, like maybe some dude in China who's not even allowed to use Google to search Tiananmen Square or whatever.
No, but that's, the Chinese already do that, and that's what Tor's for.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Stuff like that. Yeah,
I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah, it's just going to happen here. And everyone's, just do it. It's just, everyone just cheers for this shit. Anyway.
Well, I have a question. So, I want to start. You mentioned how they could do it remotely. And actually, I think it says in here that they could do it even, Well, it says even if they have no idea where the machine is located or what it's being used for, which means they haven't notified the operator. If they don't know where it is or what it's being used for, then they haven't notified the operator of the machine. And so somebody is being watched by the FBI without even knowing it. So I want to ask about that. Let's say that we were, I don't know, minarchists or like really just super conservatives or something. We really want limited government. And this isn't us necessarily, but let's just say that we were really concerned about privacy and we really wanted limited government, but we weren't necessarily anarchists or libertarians or anything. But then let's say that we heard this proposal, they can spy on you without you even knowing, or they can get a warrant to search your files or whatever without you even knowing. If we were like really conservative or whatever, let's just say we believed in government, minarchists. I like minarchists the best. Let's say we were minarchists. Would this be okay? Would it be okay for them to watch you without you even knowing if they were just trying to stop crime?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like even most socialist people probably wouldn't like this.
Yeah, but that's where their ideology goes. I'm not saying what they're going to say automatically.
What does that mean, Tim? That's where their ideology goes?
Because, okay, no one's going to say this FBI thing is to cut off people from being able to report stuff. No one's going to say that that's a problem. No one is introducing that, but that's probably what it's going to get used for plenty of times. That people aren't thinking... People's ideologies are mostly just some word they apply to some random ways they decide on things. It doesn't matter what their ideology is as much as they believe that that in the end a collective is the most important. and I think that's where any ideology like that will eventually go. That's what I was answering there.
So basically, because it's supposedly for crime stoppage, then almost anyone that's okay with government is going to support it.
I mean, I think most people will support this. And
okay.
Do you have any other questions? Because I
did.
Okay, go.
Yeah. Keep that in mind. Obviously, I want to know what else you have to say, which is rare because normally I don't care what Tim has to say. But anyway,
just keep him quiet. I found another article related to this from TechWorm.
Tim, all right, Tim. I just said hold that thought. Basically.
Yeah, but you told me to hold the thought of the
He's starting
question
a
you
second
asked me.
thread here.
Tim, I had something else to say. I don't care. This time I really don't care because I got to say this. Here's the other, I don't know, like a follow-up. Obviously listening to the show, you should know that I am not a huge fan of the government. I'll just leave it at that. Won't get into too many details. But to me, it seems like, is a lot like this is kind of like our conversation about is privacy overrated, and we have an episode called that if you're interested, and a follow-up episode, which I don't know what it was called, so sorry, but listen to every one of them, you'll find it. And basically, it's like, listen, I think this is wrong. Like, I don't think it's okay for them to snoop on you and to inspect you and to read your files or whatever. But at the same time, like, it's your own damn fault, right? I mean, if you're not protecting yourself, then, even if it wasn't the government, someone could be watching you any day, any time. You should be aware of that, and you should be protecting yourself. And I don't agree with the government's decision to do this, but I also think you're an idiot if you seriously let yourself get caught by something like this. And hey, if they're able to watch traffic and to monitor your system, your machine, whatever, I almost feel like whatever, they can do it. They should be able to just watch you, and if you're not protecting yourself, you're an idiot. Do you guys agree with that at all?
Well, kind of, but Daniel, whenever you use Tor, you can be tracked very easily that you're using Tor. It's not that you're not using Tor. It's that it messes up the sites that you're using. It's not, I wasn't thinking about that before. It's not, at least to my knowledge, it's not as much anonymizing as that. Like, you can be seen to be on there. It doesn't know where you are. That doesn't come up, but you can see you.
What does that have to do? What does that have to do with what I asked? I don't care how obvious it is. Like, is it? Because should people that are using Tor be expecting this stuff? Yeah, I think they should.
Should be expecting what stuff?
Being watched and monitored.
And that's what they're doing. They're trying to stop that, but now they're going to get even more penalized for that. Because you just for having Tor, not for going on any specific sites, which is what's the problem now. You go on a site, you do something on there, then you get arrested. They're talking about now just having Tor on there, just being seen to operate, which is very easy to see someone doing. Then you're going to get a warrant sent in on you. And,
yeah, but hang on. They're just talking about a warrant. They're not talking about arrests. Obviously, I think arrests are wrong almost all the time. But they're talking about just a warrant, and just the idea of being watched and monitored. I feel like everyone should be prepared for that all the time. They should try to be protecting themselves against that all the time if they're doing anything that people won't like. And so I don't really see how this affects anyone. I don't care if...
How are they supposed to protect themselves?
I kind of get where you're coming from, Daniel. Maybe this is a similar idea. But correct me if I'm wrong, but like the IRS can choose to what, crap, it just slipped my mind. What is the word for it? Yeah, audit. They can audit anyone they want, right?
Yeah.
But
they just
it's not worth it for most of them.
Yeah.
So I guess you could argue a similar thing with this if you were trying to say that it's not that bad or that people should be more careful. Just like just because they can get a warrant for anyone using Tor, like, doesn't make it worth it for them to do that for everybody using Tor.
That's true. That's true. And part of what I'm going to say later makes this a little bit different. But what I was saying to Daniel is he's saying people need to learn, but they don't have anything to protect themselves from this. There's nothing to stop them. You can say just quit doing what you're doing. That is a form of that's fine. You just got to live with it. But there's nothing they can really do to kind of cover or have any privacy on their laptop.
I to a certain extent, I understand that. Like, maybe that's true, maybe it's not. I mean, maybe we really have no better tools to protect ourselves. But to me, it's just like, if I believe that, if I'm a voluntarist and I believe that people can do whatever they can do and they should be allowed to do whatever they can do as long as they're not hurting people, I mean, what right do I have to tell the FBI or even just my neighbor, what right do I have to say, hey, I'm going to be sending this traffic through the internet, which, goes through all kinds of places and nodes and whatever. Hey, I'm going to be sending this traffic and this information all around the world, but just please don't look at it. I really don't want you to look at it. Like, if they can watch it, they can watch it. Like, it's not their fault. They're not doing anything wrong if they're just, even hacking into your computer. Hey, I'm going to, I have my computer and I have some sensitive information on there, but I'm just going to leave it out in my yard. So if you see it, just don't look at it.
I get, but you're taking the argument of if you have nothing you shouldn't be afraid if you have nothing to hide.
No.
Yeah, you are, because you're not, for all the people who actually have something bad on the computer, for someone who's going to send something who's going to send an email that's incriminating to the government, that's the person it's a problem for. It's not a problem for the small people. It's not. I'm not
saying they shouldn't be afraid. If you're doing something the government's not going to like, you should be scared to death. Even speeding, they're going to come after you, and you never know what could happen. All right, people have gotten killed in traffic stops before.
People get killed in the road all the time too.
What I'm saying is that not that you shouldn't be afraid, but that you should be protecting yourself more. And if you can't protect yourself, if you can't hide things that people aren't going to like, let's say that there's a gang, okay, that is in your neighborhood, and they don't like it when people, I don't know, they put chairs on their front porch, and the gang doesn't like it. If you can't hide those chairs on your front porch, I know it's a stupid example. I'm with you there, but it's a stupid example when the government comes after you for buying and selling stuff too. Okay, so if the gang doesn't like what you're doing, like, you can't stop them from seeing what's on your front porch, or even if you leave your door unlocked, you can't stop them from seeing what's in your house. Like, yes, it's wrong for them to come into your house, but you should, if you don't expect that, and if you're not locking your doors, you're an idiot, right?
Yeah, but again, you're blame. Like, I hate to do this because normally it doesn't make sense, but you're kind of blaming the victim here too. It's not like
I am. That's what I'm saying. You're an idiot if you don't protect yourself. And
but
I know.
How are they supposed to protect themselves, Daniel?
Use more encryption.
Use what?
More. Listen, I'm not an expert. I've used Tor for like 5 minutes in my life ever. All right, so I don't even know much about Tor, let alone how you can protect yourself while you're using Tor. But I would be incredibly, incredibly surprised if there weren't techniques, methods, tools, more encryption. There's got to be ways. Yeah, there's got to be ways. And okay, but let's say there's not ways. Let's say
said yeah, but
I know. But let's say, just to be even more certain, let's say that you were trying to protect yourself from the gang next door, and their locks hadn't been invented yet. All right. So are you gonna do stuff that in your house that the gang doesn't like if there's no such thing as a lock? You probably shouldn't. Now, okay, this is where I'm with you there. Like, this is where
such a weird example.
It sucks that you have to blame the victim in a situation like this because you're right. They don't have much other choice, and it sucks that they should be told not to do stuff just because the gang next door doesn't like it. But what else are you going to do? I mean, if the gang doesn't like it...
wait till better technology comes out.
Yeah, I mean...
Wait till locks come out there.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, I agree with you. Yeah, you kind of changed me with that. I finally got what you meant by that. Before I was like,
weird an example as it is.
It helped.
I don't know if it's that weird. I mean,
don't know if it was the example that helped, though. I was just thought about it for a little bit more.
I don't know if it's that weird because all I did was equate the government.
Wait. Is this like the first podcast where somebody changed their mind?
What?
No, I think I've done it before. It's normally me.
We change our mind like every 5 minutes.
No, I mean that somebody is convinced by another person on the podcast.
It
something
could be.
that they didn't agree with earlier.
It's a sign that we've succeeded, and now we have to start something new.
Okay. Can I say what I was going to say about 10 minutes ago?
Yeah. I want to know, but I want to finish real quick.
I want to know. Wait, I have a little bit more to say.
It wasn't that crazy of an example because all I did was equate the government with a gang and equate encryption with a lock. That's all I did. So.
No, you threw in chairs at the same time. You couldn't think of anything better
that was
chairs.
dumb. I did that for like 2 seconds.
I hope it didn't take you 2 seconds to say chairs.
We don't sound sad, do we?
Chair.
All right, Tim. What's up? What's up over there, brah?
What's up, bro? It's this is another article talking about this as well. It's from May 2nd. It's from techworm.net. And they mention that it's not just going to be Tor, it's just going to be VPN users too. Which doesn't really change anything we've talked about, just mentioning it's more widespread than Tor. It's anyone using a VPN could be looked at. So
I think the VPN changes it. That is really bad. I mean, I don't even know how they would do that because pretty much any company that you work for that lets you work from home requires you to use a VPN if you're working from home.
Well, I guess they're getting watched then.
I don't know.
Maybe they'd have like special things.
That sounds really far-fetched to me, banning VPN. Or if you had to get a license to be able to use a VPN.
I'll see if I can find any kind of like
that would be really bad.
Is Techworm like, is that trusted? I don't know.
So I lost connection for just a second or two there, and I, instead of trying to edit this together, I'm just going to be honest and ask what just went down. But is what's going on is that maybe they'll even be doing the same thing for VPNs, not just for Tor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've only found one article that said that, though. There aren't too many articles about it so far.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't surprise me one bit.
Yeah.
I mean,
it doesn't really change anything.
There's not a ton of difference. I mean, I guess the only difference is that a VPN is private. Theoretically, you know who's on each side of the VPN and who all the nodes are. And Tor is public to a certain extent, and you can connect to a node out in the middle of nowhere that you don't know anything about, just with a Tor address, whatever, an onion address, .onion. So that's really the only difference, is one is a lot more public and one is a lot more private. Other than that, I mean, it's the same thing. It's hidden traffic going over the internet. It's protected or attemptedly protected. I know attemptedly isn't really an adverb either.
You're just trying to create all new kinds of words.
I know. That's one of my goals in life, is to just invent some word that is in a dictionary someday. So we'll see how it goes. But anyway, so yeah, that's really the only difference. So it doesn't surprise me a ton.
I mean, I don't think that's necessarily the only difference. I mean, again, I'm not an expert on Tor. Like Daniel isn't an expert on Tor. I'm also not an expert on Tor, but I mean, a VPN it's like a tunnel. It's actually encrypting the traffic, and Tor is just IP scrambling, isn't it?
Well,
I think so. I'm not an expert on Tor either.
I don't. Yeah, I'll say it one more time. I'm not an expert either, but I think that Tor is, IP scrambling is probably not the best term, but it's pretty close in that it masks your IP. It hides where the traffic is coming from because you hop through a bunch of other nodes before you get where you're going and everything. So sure, that's pretty close where it just masks your IP. But I don't know. I would be surprised if they didn't encrypt the actual traffic itself too.
The traffic's encrypted. It's like I said before. The problem is that you can kind of be seen entering the Tor network.
Okay. Sure. I mean,
that's what I've heard.
I want to avoid saying too much on this because I just don't know. Sorry.
I'll just say all kinds of shit I've just heard in random forums.
If they say it on a forum, it must be true. So
Definitely.
Go ahead and say all that.
Yeah, but I mean, Daniel, did you hear what I was saying about VPNs though? Before
what was that
about businesses?
I don't remember. Go say it again.
Well, just another huge, or something that I see as a huge difference between Tor and VPNs is just that people use VPNs. Like, if you work for a company and they let you work from home, you are forced to use a VPN.
Yeah, and that
could be a huge problem. Like, companies might have to get licenses for it. People will have to get checked out. Like, who knows what would be involved with that? Just the administrative difficulties.
Right. I heard a little bit about that, and you're right. And it's not just that it wouldn't be the Constitution that stops people from passing laws like that, because like I said, it's pretty similar to Tor. It's just them watching internet traffic or watching internet nodes. So, but I do think that if they tried to do this with VPNs, I do think it would be stopped, but not because of the Constitution or anything, mostly just because of culture. Because just like you said, John, lots of people use VPNs for work or for, I had one when I was at school. The school had a VPN. I mean, it is way more common than Tor. And so it's as simple as you're not going to gain popular support. It's that simple. With Tor, not many people. What's that?
Most laws like this, I don't think need popular support.
No, I'm saying with Tor, you're not going to get popular. No, you are going to get popular support because not many people use Tor. But with VPNs, I don't think you're ever going to get popular support, and I don't even think you're going to get lawmakers interested in passing the same legislation for Tor, for VPNs, just because, nobody uses VPNs for illicit activity when they can use Tor instead.
Plenty of people can use it, though.
Yeah, you're right.
It's used for stealing shit it's used for stealing shit all the time.
I was just going to say, no one on
right now about we can just get on everybody's shit and legally too. I
was just going to say, like, no one on Wall Street is going to be okay with VPNs getting banned.
Yeah, you're right.
They're probably going to get a pass. It's not that hard. Just let them do it.
Well, yeah, that is true. If there is some licensing thing or something like that, it's not going to be an issue for them. But
I'm with you both there. I mean, yeah, sure. Lots of people might or will use VPNs for illicit stuff, but I'm also with all the big businesses use VPNs, and so they're not going to support this legislation unless, I guess, this is where we started, so maybe it was pointless to go around all this extra stuff. But if there's a licensing, stipulation, then maybe the big businesses will support it because I'll just get a license and we'll be fine, and we'll keep everyone else out of it. Yeah, if there's licensing involved, then who knows what the popular opinion will do, because it's like, well, we'll keep it legal for the good people and we'll keep it illegal for the bad people. That's kind of what licensing is.
They'll run ads like that, just great. They'll be like, "Well, do you want to support child molesters? Do you want to support? Do you want to support this?" I mean, obviously, And then they'll have like this guy like works from the clean cut like developers. I work from home. I need VPNs, but I'm willing to pay it. But then he'll go out of business, and it'll just be the corporate guys again.
Weren't you about to say something else?
Well, I've been kind of hopping around, a couple of the articles related to what we were reading. It looks like a lot of this stuff about this doesn't necessarily just come from. Well, it looks like there was a case where a guy was caught or was arrested for accessing a Tor hosted, but a child pornography site you can only get to through Tor. But a federal judge refused or turned down, whatever, made invalid, I think invalidated is the right word, a warrant that was used to search for him because it wasn't done correctly. So people are like, well, we need better means to get at people who do this. We need to be able to hack them sooner, be able to actually see what they're doing, and we need it to be easier so that it doesn't get thrown out, because what happens the next time? You don't want the next guy who jacks off the child pornography getting away. So they're going to, I don't know. I think that's pretty easy to get through for common support. No one's going to be like, no, I don't want to do that. So, yeah, I don't have too much faith in people being like, no, we're against VPNs. We use that. People will always pay a license.
Wait, you don't have much faith in people being against it?
Yeah. Why would they be against it? People are always fine with something getting taken away as long as it has to get a license. No one gives it like, oh, okay, I'm still free. I just have to pay for it.
Whoa. Are you saying that they wouldn't? Oh, there's too many negatives in this situation. Are you saying that people will support VPNs, or that they'll support VPN legislation?
Support VPN legislation.
Okay, that was a clarification.
Daniel,
I
if you're only
opposite.
doing work for your job, why would you have anything to hide? Why can't we just look at your stuff? Because someone else who used this once might do something.
Yeah. No, I'm with you there. And just like I said, if there's licensing involved, then it's like, well, I use it for work, but we'll just get a license. And so, sure, let's pass this legislation.
We're certified pedo-free. And you know there's just going to be a bunch of guys who just get that job just to be able to watch it there.
Oh, man. This was fun, guys. Anything else we want to hit on before we get to advice of the week?
I mean, this isn't anything substantive, and I know it's just going to turn into an echo chamber, but I just like don't think about this very much because I take it for granted. But when people use if you have nothing to hide, or you shouldn't care if you have nothing to hide, that is the dumbest thing ever. Like, I'm sorry that this is totally just like a rant with no arguments behind it, but that is just so dumb.
Yeah, what did Snowden say about that? Like, people, like, he was commenting how people say, like, why do you need free speech if you have nothing? No, I'm screwing this up. Never mind.
It's
just
like
forget what I said.
Snowden's turning over in his grave. He's just a shill now. He's just a government. I mean,
it's like, why do you have blinds on your house? You got something to hide? Why do you wear clothes? You got something to hide?
Wait, do you have something to hide?
Do you see something? Say something.
I mean, I have a few things. But seriously, it's just so dumb to me. I don't know why anyone would ever say that.
I don't know either.
Especially for something like a VPN. Like, yeah, I have something to hide. It's like all this information about my company that could make them go bankrupt if it got out.
Yeah, but we also had that episode about the like information market or like secret market slur. And people should be allowed to sell your secrets. So check out that episode. What was it called? Like secrets. See, I don't know. Look for slur.io or something. Anyway, all right, guys. Advice of the week. This was a pretty fun episode. It was, I said this before we started recording, but I'll say it again. It's the stuff that we like to talk about a lot. And that kind of, hits us to the core or whatever. but it's also fairly new. It's fairly fresh. It is news. So yeah, this was a great way to make an episode for us. But anyway, advice of the week, guys. What do you want to tell all of the generations that come after us that, solid advice that will never change, that will always be helpful forever and ever? What is it, guys?
Don't wear clothes if you've got nothing to hide.
Shit before you shower.
Sure. That was quick and easy. Is that it for you guys? Just one-liners? I'm okay with that.
I mean, I think the best wisdom comes in a single line.
Yeah.
If I could get it down to a single word, I would be even more wise.
Oh, all right.
Shit.
We got to figure that one out. How do we get?
What's the answer to life in just one word?
Yeah. Well, hey, my advice, and I'm going to be a little bit more practical, but
Mine was pretty goddamn practical, Daniel.
It's going to be about.
I think Tim outdid me.
I'm ignoring whatever Tim said. My advice is about.
You have fun.
Censorship.
My advice is ignore whatever
asshole.
Tim says. No. If it's about encryption, okay? And this is all about, like we were saying, if you're using Tor, they can still watch you, but maybe you can encrypt more. And I think I gave this advice before, but I'm going to put it out there again. Encrypt, encrypt, encrypt. Protect yourself, protect yourself, protect yourself. Hide anything that you can. And it's weird because, like I said, in a certain sense, I think privacy is overrated. I think people focus on it too much occasionally. But at the same time, I want you to encrypt as much as you can practically, and I want you to hide as much as you can practically, because they are going to be watching. Even if you are using Tor, they're going to be watching, and you're going to have to deal with the consequences. So,
you know what, Daniel?
So protect yourself. That's all I got. Use protection.
You're promoting hack culture, and I don't really appreciate it right now.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
Well, you're triggering me right now, for one thing, and I'm sure you're triggering a few of our listeners who have used Tor, and I really don't think you should blame us for that. And I think you should think of yourself and how.
Wait, whoa,
you get to work at a place of business because you're not a freak like someone who has to use a VPN to work remotely for their job, and you want them to get looked at. That's pretty bad.
When did I ever say it was wrong to use Tor or wrong to use a VPN? I said use more
Daniel,
than
my
Tor.
argument isn't based on logic. It's based on random emotion that I feel because I just want to get mad at something. So then I just pick random things to get pissed off about.
I'm with you there. That's the best way to do it. All right, guys. I think we're ready to wrap up. Anything else? All of the music in today's show was from John Stuart. John, will you take a virtual bow for all of them?
I refuse.
Thank you so much.
He's too good for you guys. He didn't want me to put his music in here because he thought it was too good, but I stole it from him because he wasn't using protection. So, all right, guys, thanks for being here.
Promoting theft.
I hesitate to say come back next Thursday. I'm ignoring you again, Tim. I hesitate to say come back next Thursday because, like I said, we really don't know what our plans are. We don't know if we'll have a new show or if we'll take a week off. But what I don't hesitate to say is get to me and btc.com. You'll find all our past episodes. You can leave us some comments, tell us what you're thinking. Our Bitcoin converter tool, we have an app you can install. You can tweet us there. That even if we do start a new show, we'll still keep this one going for a while, and you're always welcome to reach out to us and check out the website and everything. We'd love that. Peace, guys. We'll see you later.